With the advent of T20 cricket and white ball cricket, many people have time and again written the obituary of fast bowling or even the spinners. Many people have in fact gone on and given some radical suggestions of replacing the bowlers with bowling machines. With a batsman playing 360-degree cricket and cricket being termed as a batsman's game, there are bowlers who appear in the international cricket arena and stump the batsman once in a while. Hello and welcome to the sixth episode of Cricket Unadulterated, a weekly cricket podcast. I'm Abhishek Ampulkar and I have been joined by Atisham and Manjeet, and today we'll be discussing unusual bowling actions in this episode.
Hello, Abhishek, and a warm welcome to all our listeners. I can't believe this is our sixth episode, and I can assure you we'll be back with many more in the future.
Hello Abhishek, hi Manjeet. Hello everyone. Welcome to our sixth episode. Today we'll be talking about unusual bowling actions. To begin with, let's talk about the man who defines unusual bowling actions to this generation. I'm talking about Lasith Malinga from Sri Lanka. Well, he is known in the world for two things. First, his distinctive round arm slinging action and his hairdo. As you might remember, there was an ad in 2011 Cricket World Cup in which Pepsi focused on his hairdo as well. So with Malinga, there's an unusual side slinging bowling action which he developed very early in his career, and he troubled batsmen in his peak and keeps doing so in the IPL nowadays.
Yes, Atisham, and Lasith Malinga has been on the cricketing scene for quite some time now, and because of his career in international cricket as well as in domestic leagues, we have been watching him for more than a decade now. So his particular action is well edged in all our minds. Even before he begins his run up, it's a tradition for him to just kiss the ball and then start for his run up. And then usually in case of fast bowlers, they just raise their hands to a quite an extent. So the release point is usually higher. But in case of Lasith Malinga, because he has a round arm action, so in his case the release point is very close to the head of the umpire. So that is one thing that really troubles the batsman. And the second thing are his toe crushing Yorkers. He just gets them right each and every time. In fact, most of his dismissals are either LBWs or bowled. So it's really difficult for the batsman to get used to his action. And then he has brilliant slower ones. So if you are thinking of whacking him out of the park, then you better watch out for his slower ones.
Or take some coaching from Virat Kohli.
Yes, Manjeet, and you talked about the unusual bowling action and how good he was with the Yorkers. We should not forget that he is the only bowler to take 4 wickets in 4 balls in the Cricket World Cup against South Africa, and recently he took his second hat trick in T20s as well. So his action still works for him even in the later part of his career.
So guys, we have started this episode with the fast bowler from Sri Lanka. So let's take a look now at the former spinner from South Africa. You must have guessed it, Paul Adams. So this guy had a really unusual action. So generally, when you are a spin bowler and you are into your delivery stride, you continue to look at the batsman after once you have bowled the ball, because you never know, you might get a reflex caught and bowled, or you may follow the trajectory of the ball to make sure you know if whether or not to appeal for an LBW decision. But that wasn't the case with Paul Adams. So while entering his delivery stride, he used to curl himself in an unusual position and then release the ball. So if you look at it, he wasn't actually looking at the batsman or the pitch or the trajectory of the ball. So that is quite unusual.
Yes, and he kind of did somersaults in his bowling action, and that action was actually quite famous during the 90s. And many people tried to copy it. And we'll talk about a guy later, Shivil Kaushik. He does something very close to what Paul Adams used to do.
And in fact, Mike Getting has called that action a frog in a blender. So that action initially was very surprising to the batsmen because they hadn't seen this kind of action before, and especially coming from a spinner. And obviously, his mystery was later decoded, and that was no longer a mystery for many batsmen around the world.
So let's talk about the Indian Paul Adams, as one may call him. I'm talking about Shivil Kaushik. We saw him play for Gujarat Lions for a period of 2 years in 2016 and 17. So again, this guy has a very Paul Adams-like action. And in one of the interviews, he claimed that he himself doesn't know which way the ball will turn. So it's actually quite unusual for a spinner. And in fact, Paul Adams actually, when Shivil Kaushik came to the scene and became an overnight household name, that's when Paul Adams actually reacted on a video someone had posted. That, of course, as we remember, Don Bradman watching Sachin Tendulkar on television and saying to his wife, "Yeah, you know what? He has a similar playing technique like me." So we have another case here when Paul Adams said, "Well, he reminds you of someone."
And Shivil Kaushik, just like Paul Adams, Manjeet, belong to a very rare breed of spin bowlers, Chinamen. Of course, we have Kuldeep Yadav now, but these bowlers are very hard to come by and very difficult to pick up. So they add a different variety. And if you have this kind of action, it completely acts as a mystery to the batsman to figure out.
Yes, and Shivil Kaushik, as you all know, was an IPL prodigy. Now let's talk about another IPL prodigy who now leads Indian attack in Test match, ODIs, and T20s as well. I'm talking about Jasprit Bumrah. During his debut year for Mumbai Indians, Jasprit Bumrah rose to prominence because of his unorthodox right arm bowling action. It is very close to Malinga, and Jasprit Bumrah often says this that he has learned a lot from Malinga. But yes, his unusual bowling actions has helped him a lot in international cricket, and who would have thought he has performed really well in Test cricket as well.
Yes, Satisham, he has a whippy action, and with that hyper extension of elbow, it becomes very difficult for the batsman, be it a bouncer or a yorker, because you don't know where the ball will pitch and how much it is going to bounce because of that action.
That's right, Abhishek. And because of all his abilities, he has become the go-to man for his captain. So whenever the match seems to be slipping out of hand and India is in dire need of wickets, Jasprit Bumrah is the person you would like to hand over the ball to.
Okay, so just when you believed that Paul Adams had this unusual bowling action, let me bring in Sohail Tanvir into the picture. Now, this is the guy many people and the commentators said that bowled off the wrong foot. He was the bowler, his arm came after his body has landed in a very unusual way that the batsman couldn't figure out initially when he broke into the scene. I remember the 2007 T20 Cricket World Cup in which he bowled against Sanath Jayasuriya, and Jayasuriya, being the batsman that he is, he was unable to pick him because his action was very different from what we see generally in international cricket.
I believe many of our listeners would recall that in the very first season of the IPL, the only one when Pakistani players were allowed to play in the tournament, Sohail Tanvir was the purple cap holder, and his best wicket haul of 6 for 14. This record was almost unbroken for over a decade when Alzari Joseph broke his record just last year playing for the Mumbai Indians.
Yes, Manjeet, and these are the bowlers we have at one stage or the other tried to imitate, be it Jasprit Bumrah or Sohail Tanvir or even Paul Adams, because we would find it very funny in some way or the other.
I believe in every gully cricket group, there is always this one person who knows how to imitate bowlers, and in particular the unusual ones like Bumrah or Malinga. There is always this person, as far as I know. So let's move on to another player, this time from the West Indies. I'm talking about Fidel Edwards, who didn't last on the international stage for long, but he, of course, never failed to make a mark.
Yes, and his bowling action has been compared to the great fast bowler Jeff Thompson. And his bowling action has troubled many batsmen because of the prodigious amount of swing Edwards used to get. But one disadvantage of that bowling action was that he was injury prone. I mean, he has been on and off the international circuit for long amount of time. He has been around for a while now, but he has been pretty inconsistent. and averages around more than 40 in Test cricket, which is not a great average.
Yes, talking about being around, he's been around for like 18 years now. He made his test debut in 2002, but if we can recall, he moved into a West Indian side which already had some great fast bowlers at that point of time, be it Ian Bradshaw, Corey Collymore, or Pedro Collins. He began his test career on a high, took 5 for on debut, and credits to his unusual bowling action. He is also currently one of the best fast bowlers that West Indies produced in terms of speed. He ranks amongst the top five of the fastest bowls being bowled in this century. And yes, you talked correctly that he succumbed to injuries later in his career. After 2009, he has been on and off with the West Indian team. He also played IPL for a couple of seasons, playing for Deccan Chargers as well as for Pune Warriors India. And all we can remember of Fiddle Edwards is that he was a short-heighted guy, but who could bowl very fast.
Yes, Atisham. And the main problem with these unusual bowling action is all the bowlers are injury prone. If we talk about, obviously, bowling fast is itself a huge challenge because it defies a lot of physics and is quite unnatural to load up, have a run up, and then bowl that ball at 150 k's. If we talk about Jasprit Bumrah, Fiddle Edwards, almost all the bowlers which we have covered, it's very difficult to manage the injuries.
So, guys, if you take a look at bowlers who generally bowl with a normal or a conventional bowling action, even those fast bowlers weren't completely prone to injuries. I can think of a couple of names, fast bowlers who could have had much better careers and much better figures against their names in the statistics. But unfortunately, due to injuries, they were on and out of the field, and they couldn't completely use their potential. So I can think of someone like Shane Bond or even Ashish Nehra, whose career was marked by a series of injuries, and this wasn't really fair for them.
Okay, now let's move to a spinner, our very own Indian spinner, Kedar Jadhav. Obviously, he's a part-time off spinner, which Mahendra Singh Dhoni and now Virat Kohli use him to restrict the flow of runs and break the continuity. And obviously, he's a wicket taker. And his round arm bowling action is quite uncharacteristic.
In my opinion, if you were to take Shakib Al Hasan, make him bowl with his right hand instead of the left one, and make him wear an India jersey, Kedar Jadhav is what you would get.
Yes, and well, you can call him the Indian Lasith Malinga, but with a very slow pace as compared to what Malinga is, obviously. And this might sound a bit odd, but I guess Kedar Jadhav uses his height to a great advantage and gets a lot of use out of it.
Yes, Atisham, and he absolutely offers no pace to the batsman to work with because the faster the spinners bowl, they quicker they get dispatched to boundaries for fours and sixes. And I was just going through this website where they have morphed his bowling action and put him in different situations like sword fighting or bowling or even pitching in a baseball match. It's quite hilarious how creative people can get just with a bowling action.
Yes, and talking about Kedar Jadhav, he's made a name for himself because being a part-time bowler, he has made to our lists. So I think it's a good thing for him. His bowling action has stood out.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about the fastest bowler ever in the world. I'm talking about Shoaib Akhtar. Well, apart from his speed, he was also famous for his bowling action that he had. Very muscular indeed. He landed and the arm came off just like a missile, and the ball landed at a very fast pace. And till now, his record of the fastest ball that he bowled during the 2003 Cricket World Cup hasn't been broken.
I was reading a very interesting trivia wherein he was talking about how to improve the pace for any fast bowler. He was giving some tips, and the way he practiced before that 2003 World Cup, he said that he used to bowl from 26 yards. So that really helped him improve those extra yards which he got in the World Cup.
Yes, and he has always talked about the culture that they had in their team back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Everyone wanted to bowl fast, and Akhtar was the prodigy of that generation. And if you happen to see his YouTube videos nowadays, he talks about this aggressive stuff all the time and how the bowlers of this current generation don't concentrate on bowling fast. So yes, it was his mindset, and his action really helped him to gain that speed that he eventually had.
It was quite a sight to see a fast bowler bowling almost from the boundary line and run in like someone participating in a 100-meter sprint and bowl with that express pace.
And even years after he had retired from competitive cricket, he was still as lethal. So if you remember the 2015 All-Star series held in the United States between Sachin's Blasters and Vaughan's Warriors, in the very first match at New York, Shoaib Akhtar bowled an equally lethal bouncer to Matthew Hayden as he would when he was at the peak of his career. So he was really threatening and really intimidating for any batsman. So coming to our next bowler with an unusual action, because racism and Black Lives Matter has been trending in the global news for over a week now. Let's talk about the first ethnically black player to play cricket for the South African cricket team. That is Makhaya Antony, of course.
Yes, and we talked about Shoaib Akhtar. Makhaya Antony also belongs to that era of fast bowlers. And what a lethal partnership he formed with Sean Pollock during the late 90s and early 2000s, making South Africa the team that it was.
Yes, they used to hunt in packs. I remember Andre Neil was also part of that bowling group. Andre Neil, Sean Pollock, as you rightly said at the Sham. Then Andrew Hall, the all-rounder.
Yes, and let me talk briefly about the bowling action to let our viewers know. So, Makhaya Antony, while he was running in, he rolled in wide of the crease and his arm came above his head, and he formed this excellent angle in which if he pitched the ball on the off stump, it went in straight and creating very difficult situation for the batsman. So it was an action that was very unique at that point of time, very similar to that of Andrew Flintoff, which he had at that point of time, but with the pace, Makhaya Antony was extremely lethal.
So guys, let's talk about another Sri Lankan with an unusual action. He's not a fast bowler, but he's arguably one of the best spinners the cricketing world has ever seen. The man with the highest number of test dismissals with 800 test wickets, Muthaiya Muralidharan.
Yes, and with the kind of bowling action that he had, he was also once called for chucking, but then he was cleared, and oh boy, he had a long career, and he was effective till the very late moment of his career, like he was when he joined the world of cricket.
And even his expressions were quite lethal from the batsman's point of view. Lethal, or some batsmen can term it as hilarious. Because the way he used to look at the batsman was quite intimidating for some of the youngsters just arriving at the international arena. And with the kind of reputation he had, the amount of spin which he used to extract even on dead pitches, where there was nothing for the spinners, that was quite amazing and outstanding from a spinner's point of view.
Yes, and his action and his bowling was very crucial in one of the famous Test match wins for Sri Lanka in England back in 1998 at the Oval, because Muralidharan bowled really well in that match, and as far as I can remember, in one of the innings he was able to take more than 5 wickets, resulting in a famous Sri Lankan win.
Atisham, Manjeet, we were discussing about the chucking rule, the 15-degree extension in one of the episodes. I think Shoaib Akhtar was also called. His whole career was ridden with controversy because initially, when he arrived at the international arena, he was also called for chucking, where ICC refused to give any explanation why he was banned from bowling or why he was not allowed to bowl with that action. He was simply told to remodel his bowling action. And then he went to Australia. There, his bowling action was analyzed and he was detected with a medical condition, the hyperextension of his elbow. which resulted in quite a unique bowling action.
So now let us talk about another bowler famous for his unusual bowling action as well as for many other things. I am talking about Ashok Dinda. And unusual bowling action, yes, and famous for other things. Well, you might have guessed what I am talking about. Talking about Ashok Dinda, he has this unusual jump he takes before delivering a ball, and he came into prominence as an IPL prodigy in 2008, went on to represent India as well, and performed really well till 2012 on and off. But yes, he had an international career and was a good bowler for some part of it.
Well, he has been mercilessly trolled for his economy and lack of taking wickets. But that is kind of unfair if you were to take my opinion. Because, of course, as we all know, every bowler dreams. Ashok Dinda must have sacrificed a lot and worked really hard to make his way into the team. So, according to me, it's not justified to troll or ridicule a bowler just because he did not have a successful career with Team India or had a good outing in the IPL.
Yes, Manjeet, it's a very valid point. I completely agree on that because Ashok Dinda has been a great bowler for Bengal Ranji team. And one more bowler which this has reminded me is Vinay Kumar. Both Vinay Kumar for Karnataka and Ashok Dinda for Bengal have served the Indian domestic cricket for quite long and taken huge amount of wickets on dead tracks, on Indian dead tracks, because you can't find any assistance for any fast bowlers on the Indian pitches.
Yes, and their performances are evidence for the result that they played for India somewhere down the line. Both Vinay Kumar and Ashok Dinda represented Team India at certain points in their career, and Vinay Kumar also went on to play a test match for India in Perth, as far as I can remember. So, yes, their performances were rewarded, but at the international level, they were not able to replicate the kind of skill and performance that they showed in the Ranji Trophy matches. But nevertheless, they were legends in the domestic field in Indian cricket, as you have already mentioned.
So, guys, we haven't talked about any Australian yet. So, can we talk about the fast bowler Sean Tate? He's one of the fastest after Brett Lee.
Yes, and talking about Sean Tate, his action was quite similar to what Shoaib Akhtar had. And one thing that is really commendable about Sean Tate is that he came into the Australian team when it had some great bowlers like Glenn McGrath and Brett Lee, and was able to find a space for himself because of his pace, obviously. He went on to represent Australia in test matches, ODIs, as well as T20s. Talking about T20s, let us talk about his performance against Pakistan in one of T20. I think it was in MCG in 2010, and there was this one over to Imran Parath that he bowled, and the balls were clocking around 160 kph every ball that he bowled that over, and commentators were berserk, and the crowd was all behind him.
It was quite a nightmare for any batting unit. Imagine Sean Tate, Mitchell Johnson, and Brett Lee in the same side, one coming up after another. That would have been quite intimidating.
Yes, and like many cricket fans, I guess that you guys would also be fans of montage of cricket bowling in which the stumps roll out of the ground. I'm talking about cartwheel, and Sean Tate was one of those famous bowlers who bowled so fast, and the qualities of stumps in those days were not as good as it is today. And when the ball hit the stumps, and it was Sean Tate, the cartwheel was, I guess, a treat to see.
So, at the end of our list is a person who you would usually not expect in this list. But then, of course, he has been a legend with the bat. But then you can't underestimate him when he has the ball in his hand. I'm talking about the current Indian captain, Virat Kohli.
Yes, Manjeet, and in his own words, Virat Kohli calls himself a very deceptive bowler, but he laughs after making that statement. And he also mentions that in his words, I'm quoting him, that God has given me such a terrible action. Even if I ball spin, it will look like that. So yes, he laughs at himself seeing his videos. And yes, he is a legend of the game with the bat, but his bowling action is a treat to see for many cricket fans.
I would like to take you all to the 2016 World T20 semi-final between India and the West Indies at Mumbai. In the previous league game against Australia, Virat Kohli had played an innings of his life when he led India to victory, and India managed to book a berth in the semi-final. So during the second semi-final between India and West Indies, Virat Kohli had played another brilliant knock after the one in Mohali, and thanks to his brilliant efforts, India could set a challenging total for the West Indies. But the West Indian attack was equally lethal, and West Indies were cruising towards the total, and India were in desperate need of a wicket. So it was Virat Kohli who actually provided India with a breakthrough when, of his very first delivery, he dismissed Johnson Charles. Unfortunately, the result did not go in India's favor. India lost the match, and the West Indies, who won the semi-final, actually went on to win the final as well.
Yes, but imagine a Virat Kohli with a proper bowling action who could be a proper all-rounder for India. That could have been something else and real boon for Indian cricket. But still, with the bat, he's a legend of the game and a God-gifted player. And yes, he's the best in the business right now. And bowling could have been his forte, but for the bowling action. But his unusual bowling action is what got him to our list.
Well, there is no doubt that Virat Kohli is already as good as he is right now. But had he been a more proper bowler with a well-defined action and wicket-taking abilities, he would have been someone like Jack Callis, who could bat through the innings in a test match or even take wickets whenever his team needed. So guys, apart from the ones we have discussed so far, there are some honorable mentions that we would like to speak about. One is Tendai Chatara from Zimbabwe. So this guy is a right arm fast bowler, but if you look at his run up, he virtually doesn't move his left arm at all. So even during his delivery stride, his left arm is almost in a fixed position. So that is something I have never seen before.
Okay, the second bowler I think we should mention here in this list is Alamin Hussain, the fast bowler from Bangladesh. Generally, when a fast bowler bowls, he takes support of his left arm to give a sense of direction the way he wants to bowl. If you look at Alamin's bowling action, he hardly or rarely uses his left arm to give that direction.
Yes, and another bowler that I would like to add up to this list of honorable mention is Jade Dernbach, a guy who played for England back in 2010 and 2011 season. He had an extremely clever slower ball and could also clock up to the speeds of 140 kph. He was also famous for the tattoos he had on his hand.
But later on, he just became a one-dimensional bowler where the batsman could predict what his next delivery would be, which was more often than not a slower ball, back of hand slower ball.
Another addition that I would like to make to this list is a New Zealand bowler called Chris Martin. He was back in his time a premier fast bowler for New Zealand, and he had an action quite similar to that of Ashok Dinda, but was very successful in the test arena with the bowling action that he had.
Okay, guys, I think we have discussed almost all the bowlers now with his unusual bowling actions. Obviously, we didn't discuss the bowlers of 80s and 90s, but another form of bowlers and the kind of bowlers which are coming up in cricket are the ambidextrous bowlers. One name which comes to my mind is Kamindu Mendes and the Indian player from Vidarbha, Akshay Karnewar. They can bowl with both their hands. Ambidextrous bowlers, for those who don't understand what that term means, it means that bowlers can bowl with both left arm and right arm. Although both these bowlers are just spinners, but they provide a variety to a captain.
So in case of bowlers like these, all four modes of bowling are possible. So A bowler like this one can bowl right arm over the wicket, right arm round the wicket, as well as left arm over the wicket and left arm round the wicket.
Okay, guys, so that was it from our side. We discussed as much as we could of the knowledge that we had of unusual bowling actions. Hope you liked our episode and liked our previous episodes too. We'll be back with our 7th episode as soon as we can. Let us know about your views, your comments, and please share, subscribe, like, and love to all of you. Thank you.